Hello, welcome to Vinyl Grandad. This is Thoughts and Feelings episode 2. Basically just chatting about the records that I have in my collection, the records that I love, the ones that have changed my life, etc, etc. So today, 3001 A Laced Odyssey by the Flatbush Zombies. Named after 2001 A Space Odyssey, film by Stanley Kubrick, which I haven't watched. Don't know why, probably should, but I'm talking about the music today, regardless. So this was a big one for me, changed a lot, but before I get into all of that, this cover is insane, is it not? It was done by Marvel. We've got all three of them on there. The concept is mad. I don't know how much, I'm pretty sure they had a big input in terms of the concept and all this stuff in there. There is an interview on YouTube where they explain it all, I'm sure, but it's just ridiculous. I love it when that much thought goes into the whole product, everything like that. And then the actual record itself. So on the sleeves, you've got each of them here. Very cool pictures, but this is just my favourite design for a record that I've got, 100%. And yeah, I wouldn't usually take that much time out, but this one's quality. So the reason that they are so big for me, if I can get this in the fucking thing, man. See, the worst part is that I'm going to try and leave these uncut. And there's going to be so many blunders. There's going to be so many times where I'm just doing random shit and trying to sort it out. And it's going to end up in rambles like this, but fuck it. I'm keeping it raw, uncut. So anyway, the reason that this is so big for me is because before I listened to this album, I was a hip-hop fan. I did like rap, but not to anywhere near the extent that this sent me into. I didn't even really listen to rap until I was about like 14, 15, which is crazy to think now. But like the first CD I bought was Tiny Temper Discovery, and then after that, like B.O.B., The Adventures of Bobby Ray or whatever it was, like sort of pop rap, like that sort of thing. At that sort of time was the only thing I'd be listening to in terms of rap up until I was like 14, 15, and then it was like Tyler the Creator, if you didn't already know. Just that sort of vibe really, anything like resembling of Odd Future, like I was sort of on that. But when this came out, I remember I just walked into school, I put my headphones on, I saw that Flatbush had released it. I'd heard like a couple singles before, but I'd never listened to like a proper project of theirs. And it just blew me away. And I was just like, okay, well now I want to know everything about hip-hop. I want to know every album, previous, current, like the latest album, but also all the classics. And that's what sparked me to go into like Ready to Die, Illmatic, like all of those were all sparked from this. And the reason why, I don't really know, to be perfectly honest. I'll break the group down and then maybe I'll sort of get an idea as I'm going through it myself. So we got Michi Darko. He's got this low, rumbling voice. He's just chatting about some horrific shit most of the time. It is quite funny. Like, he's got humour as well. But it will just be going on about stuff like being the baby of Bloody Mary, and like it's just very disgusting, gory, and then also quite emotional stuff as well though, to sort of balance it out. Juice, he's more of like a higher pitched sort of rapper, just to contrast with Meech, which is nice, and that they always work really well together, and complement each other really well on the tracks. But they're very versatile and they're very animated in the way that they're delivering everything they're talking about. They are kind of like cartoon characters, to be perfectly honest. Like, if you just imagine this, imagine what that sounds like, and that basically is what it is, to be perfectly honest. Eric on the left here is handling the production, all the beats, and they are absolutely insane. Like, it's a lot of New York boom bap, stuff like that, but then he does also do trap beats and stuff on here as well. And I need to stop saying stuff. As I'm going through this, I'm literally just going to improve doing these videos live with you, and I'm going to say stuff a lot, and those kind of things, and those kind of things. So just bear with me on that. Watching that back, I just completely forgot to mention Eric's rapping, and it feels a bit blasphemous. Yeah, I guess that's just on there. Rosalie album cover. It's nothing weird. But yeah, I just forgot to mention Eric's rapping because it's so good and it's so underrated, and I didn't want to just label him as a producer and just let that be out there because that would be stupid. And because I love Flatbush so much, I just have to get it right. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, back to you. But the beats are absolutely insane. They're very atmospheric, dark to go along with the content a lot of the time. Even if it is positive, I feel like on this album it's sort of getting through the dark times and trying to see the light, and it's in that sense positive, but there's no happy songs necessarily. It's more of like a dark atmospheric vibe, as I've already said, is really what it is. Very animated, great lyricism, reference to lots of old hip-hop, and once I dove back into all the old hip-hop, I then came back to this and started realising how many references there were, and yeah, they've always paid homage, which I like about Flatbush. But I think just the whole culture around them, as much as I do love the album and it is just one of my favourites, it was like me and my friends at the time, obviously smoking a lot, big weed smokers, Flatbush, so we sort of fell into that culture and that vibe. So all we were listening to when we were riding around in the cars was this. In my headphones it was this. Wherever I was smoking and I'd listen to Flatbush, and that was the vibe for like 2 years, which is why it just brings back so many great memories. But the other thing is that they openly do psychedelics, and in their interviews they've always talked about being yourself, peace, love, positivity, and following what you want to do, which obviously is a lot of people's sort of manifesto. But I just thought the way they were doing it was really individual and quite different, and it actually, when I saw that, it actually inspired me to do it. You know, you hear it from a lot of people and you go, yeah, that seems like a good idea to be yourself and stuff, but this actually broke my core and shook me, took me to the place where I really wanted to do it, which was mental. And it was, a lot of people don't have those sort of breakthrough moments where they hear an album and then their whole life changes forever. Some people do. Speaking to different people, you get different takes on having that moment. But for me personally, I've had it, and this was it. This was the mind breaker, and it just set me off. And it started me making my own music. It was terrible when I first started. I sounded like the fourth member of Flatbush, except I was a middle class lad from England, and that sort of led it to sound absolutely terrible and disingenuous. But eventually, I've kept going. Sounds a lot better now, in my opinion. But it's not about my music, it's about their music and their culture, their wave. The other thing was, Juice even says on this album, you're not that inventive with the coloured hair, you're losing it. And what he's referencing there is that when these first came out, Flatbush, in like 2013, people didn't have coloured hair. Like you see this right on here. This is a pretty standard rapper look nowadays, yeah, especially after the SoundCloud wave, everything like that. You've seen a million of these. But when they first came out, this was not the vibe. People were not openly talking about doing psychedelics with the coloured hair. Like, they were called crackheads, trippy, hippies, whatever you want to, whatever buzzword the media wanted to use, they threw it against Flatbush. And they were sort of, I guess they go unnoticed, in my opinion, as one of the groups that sort of pushed that whole movement forward and really took the hit for everyone else to succeed with it, and they were the real trailblazers with it, which to me was just really cool. And I saw that from early, and I just thought I really admired them for it, and the way that they kept pushing, and the way that they are now, and the influence that they had is just so great to see. And obviously they're still all making music. They've all just released their solo projects. Meech's is great, Juice's is great, Eric's full album, he's released an EP, but his album is to come, and I'm really excited for that. Also live, like, I've seen them live multiple times, met them actually in a meet and greet, great lads, but they are amazing performance. There is a stigma on hip-hop shows, right, where they're not, so they're stereotypically not great shows, but I think that was more before, where it's sort of just the beat plays and then they give their 4 million bars that they've written. Whereas obviously there's a bit more rage, there's an essence of sort of punk to Flatbush as well. So the mosh pits are absolutely insane. They've got, you know, they're not performing over their own vocals in the back. They're performing just over the beats. All the vocals, them doing themselves. They're just really creative with it, and I love their live shows, and I respect them a lot. But I mean, I've been ranting for a long time now. I've said all I need to say, so yeah, peace.